Hello guys, and firstly I hope that you're all keeping well and keeping safe. Now this is a breakdown of Aussie dollar and US dollar. Now I'm not sure, I do apologize, I'm not sure if you can hear the background noise around me. It's quite loud here, so I do apologize. But yeah, this one was pretty straightforward, and we'll go through how I came to the trade I took this morning. Where was it? This AU short. It did take me out at break even eventually. What the heck was that? It did take me out at break even eventually, but I closed 5R and then it took me out, so I took partials. Yeah, this one here. So yeah, and this one was actually sent in. It was sent in. There it was. So it was sent in. So yeah, how did I get here? Now, AUDUSD as shown in the Outlook video, where we had our POI. Now, we broke structure from a daily OB, right? This daily OB that actually broke structure. Now, you're probably questioning whether it's going to be this one or this one that actually broke the structure. It's a bit unclear to me personally. However, if we count the overall move, you know, if you start questioning, you know, which one it's going to be, because that was a POI and price didn't respect it, which is fine, which is fair enough. But I still feel that this is the whole order block, this candle here, this blue one, that caused this big move, well, impulsive move. Now, if we're thinking about it from our two rules, right, that was just the impulse that went from here to here, right? So this move back is simply the retrace that we're looking for, because it's not confirmed that it's going to be a bearish trend. Okay, so just bear that in mind. It's not confirmed that price is bearish. So this would be entry type number 1 if we're looking for an entry here or entry here. Okay, but remember, to make it a high probability entry, we look for either entry type number 1 or entry type number 2 on a lower time frame. That's essentially how it works, right? So we got the higher time frame bias is the fact that we just broken structure. So potentially this could either be a liquidity grab and price can continue, or it can react to at an OB here and then price can continue to the downside. So if we do catch a nice trade, it'll be very nice it could be a nice swing should it break the structure and we follow the price up along. But let's go to the 4 hour and see what happens there. So on the 4 hour, so what can we see is where we had the daily break of structure, right? We could see this massive 4 hour impulse here. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I was shaking there. We got this massive 4 hour impulse here, which went on to break structure, right? And then we had a successful retrace, which went on to break this structure. Now, we've got the impulsive OB somewhere up here, and we've got the successful retrace. Now, I didn't look for an entry here. Why? It's because for me personally, I would prefer to have a bigger retracement purely because of the daily situation. But remember, from the Outlook video, we were looking for shorts from somewhere around this wick, right, which it didn't respect anyway. And if you go to the 4 hour, it was here. So the successful retrace doesn't really marry up, to be fair, using the 4 hours. So you don't really have the multi-time frame analysis. And even though this is a liquidity wick, it didn't break structure, didn't do anything, it didn't. So for us, for me personally, I wouldn't class that as a POI, and I wouldn't even want to even look to trade it. We know that there's a POI sitting here, but is anything actually standing out? Apart from this liquidity wick, nothing else is really standing out, right? Now, if we go through the time frame, so this one, if we go to the hourly, and this is where I saw it. Now, this is where I became a little bit confused. Not confused, but it sort of questions, you know, which OB you want to take. Now, that is an OB in its own right, but if you think about it, from a structure point of view, does price really, this is what solidified why I went for the lower one here, even though this top one is still valid from the higher time frame, right? We can see that this high was created by this low, right? Because there's no other low that was created in between. No, there wasn't. So that was the low and that was the high. This low, okay, it was broken by this move here. So the order block that is sitting here is this one, and then when we refine it, we end up coming to this candle, right? This candle was already mitigated by this one, and then what we did, we formed a base, and then it went on to break structure. Now, as you can see here, it clearly broke, right? So this base being said, we know that we've got this very clear order block sitting here, right? And then if we refine this going down the time frames, so at this point we should know that you simply just flick through the time frames, and I don't know why I did it so stupidly, because I simply should have just done it this way. So if we flick through the time frames on this end, if we keep going, so on the 2 minute, and this is where I saw the clearest order block within that, okay, and that is where I refined that POI to, that hourly refined to this one. Why didn't I pick this one? It's because it didn't really didn't really break any structure. For example, we created a low here, then a failed structure, then it impulsed and broke structure. So if you're thinking about it from that sense, that's the one that caused the impulse within the hourly time frame. Now bear in mind, this is just a POI. It can react here. Should it react there? It could do, but for me personally, I can't see any reason for it to even react there. There isn't yeah, it's got no reason to. The main impulse came from here, right? That impulsive down move came from here. Now if we go back to where price was when it got there, so this one was quite an early one, and I was thankfully awake. Not thankfully, I mean I was awake anyway. But generally I wouldn't take this trade, purely because in terms of timing, it's not my normal time. I'm awake that early, but I'm not active on the charts at that point. So here at this point I'm sleeping, and I think I woke up at like half 3 or 4 yesterday. Couldn't really sleep, to be fair. But if we see what's happening here, we've got this impulsive move, okay, so that's not a rule number 1. We got the impulse, and then we had a successful retrace which went on to break structure. This break of structure originated from here. Now for me at this point, I was not active. I did not look at the charts. I was active somewhere around here, so I know I missed a successful retrace, which is fine because I would have lost that one anyway. So in that sense, I was lucky. What can we see here is what caused this move. The first initial move is this one. So I had full reason to take the trade off this one. So my entry point was off the open. Let me get rid of that. Entry point was on the open, and then I had a 2-pip stop loss on this one, as usual, and there we go. And then it did well, and then it just came back at break even. And where did it come back at break even? Yeah, actually, and this is another good point actually to make while we're looking at this. So in terms of moving your stop loss to break even, now there is it is subjective to you how you want to do it. But for me, if you think about it from this way, that we impulse and broke structure, right? Does price have a reason to come back here? Yes, it does. Why? That's an order block. Okay, price has a reason to come back and mitigate that order block. So I didn't move my stop loss until we had another break of structure, because the next point of interest would have been that order block there. Okay, so I didn't actually I didn't move my stop loss to break even, so I wasn't taken out on that trade at that point. I was taken out eventually, however. I was taken out oh gosh, sorry, I was taken out hold on a sec, but you guys already know I was taken out actually at this point. Yeah, so I was taken out at entry, and then price, yeah, it's sort of playing around. I'm not looking for another entry now, because it did sort of break through the structure. So I think that the next POI should be the one above, for me personally, but we'll see what happens. I don't really like this pair. Yeah, as I said, I only focused on it because I set an alert from the last Outlook video. But yeah, because as you know, this is my main watch list at the moment. But yeah, as I said, I only took the trade purely because it was there. The full rules were there, and I mean I took 5R, so I'm not going to complain, and that's the main thing. Even for me, like you've seen some of the trades I've taken, some of the RR that I achieve, and I'm happy with 5R. You have to humble yourself sometimes and accept the fact that you're not always going to get like a massive trade. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, overall it was a pretty simple move. There wasn't really a lot to it. It's just understanding. I think the only complication was understanding the daily structure, what actually caused the break. The move did originate from here, but because of this liquidity wick, it was a POI in its own. but it didn't really marry up on the 4 hour anyway. But yeah, ideally, this is the first point of call that I will look at. But price violated it anyway, and then I was looking for shorts. Now, the main thing that I want to get clouded by is, if I'm looking for shorts at this point, I could be missing the whole picture, because bear in mind, price is still bullish, right? So price can just fly through, and as I said, this can be a liquidity grab. So always be open to the fact that you could be looking for buys. However, at this point, I was looking for sells purely because of the bearish break, and I wanted to see if we can get a trade in, and I missed a buy anyway. Whether there was a buy or not, I don't know. There must have been somewhere. Where did that react to? Yeah, I mean, they probably would have buy somewhere here, which I didn't see. As I said, I don't even look at this pair anymore. But yeah, there was an order block here. Whether you'd have picked that, is that actually? It's not really an order block. I assume there's something there on the daily. Is there? Yeah, I mean, the start of this impulsive move came from this. That was the order block. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why it moved bullish from there. I didn't look for a buy. I wasn't looking at the trade. But yeah, as I said, price can just continue to the upside, and we don't know. Okay, we won't know if price is going to be bullish or bearish at this point. We just have to follow structure. Okay, so this is entry type number 1 on the daily time frame. Just bear that in mind. And we've just made it into a high probability trade. Even though we got stopped out at break even, the trade was a safe trade to take, purely because we took it. We confirmed the trade using different time frames. But yeah, that was the breakdown of AUD USD. How do I stop this? What the heck? How do I stop? I'll be honest, I don't know how to stop this. Wait, hold on a sec. There's a way. Oh, there we go.